Silver Surfer has long been a fan favorite card in Marvel Snap, but recently it's become somewhat inaccessible because of Sebastian Shaw and Gladiator both being Series 5 cards. However, I wanted to prove that Silver Surfer is still a great deck even on a budget. So I built this Series 3 only Silver Surfer deck, which can absolutely hold its own against the versions with Series 5 cards in. Storm is one of the first cards I put into a Silver Surfer deck every single time. Locking down locations with control is amazing, but also Silver Surfer buffing Storm is a great way of winning surprise cubes. The other most important card in a Silver Surfer deck, in my opinion, is Goose. I get memed on quite a lot by my community by saying, oh, it's got Storm and it's got Goose, it must be a speci deck. But there's a big reason for this. If we have Goose in one lane and Storm in another, it is so difficult for many of our opponents' decks to compete. Even when they have cards like Zabu, Goose and Storm are just the way to go. Snap, bro. This was such a bad snap. I asked him to snap on turn 1 and then he didn't snap until the end of the game when they were losing. Good job. Get Goosed on! Another card which is a big control tool and works alongside Storm and Goose is Cosmo. If our opponent is super restricted in where they're able to play, we're going to be able to time our Cosmo very, very efficiently. There's also a lot of destroy decks going around at the moment, and a well-timed Cosmo into their Deadpool lane is just winning you the game on the spot. Just don't forget to snap before you play the Cosmo if you know that you're going to be sniping them with your Cosmo. Killmonger is another fantastic control tool available in Silver Surfer, and you start to see the theme of the deck. We control the board with location control with Goose and Storm, but then we also control the board with cards like Cosmo, Killmonger. Another board control tool is Rogue, being able to deal with Devil Dinosaurs, Iron Man, all these kinds of cards in a fantastic way. Cards like Rogue and Killmonger alongside Surfer on turn 6 are devastating swings, which can often win you 8 cubes. This card is the hidden gem of this deck. I am blown away by how good Negasonic Teenage Warhead is in Silver Surfer decks. There's a couple of reasons for that. It changed its ability a couple months ago while I was on a break, where it no longer destroys itself, which means it's still getting the Silver Surfer buffs. But you can sneak this into the Goose lane, and it just restricts your opponent from where they're able to play so much. If you are expecting, for example, a big Devil Dinosaur on turn number 5, you can play your Negasonic because you've got the Storm and Goose elsewhere. It's just consistently good, and you can often, if you have initiative, which this deck achieves quite often, then you can just play this card on turn 6 to surprise your opponent even further. If you've got Goose and Storm, you know where they're going to be playing their big card. Mr. Fantastic is a Series 1 card, but vastly underestimated. He helps us get initiative by putting points into all 3 locations. This is amazing for cards like Cosmo and Negasonic, where that initiative can be the difference between a win or a loss. If you do own Gladiator, I would say that Mr. Fantastic is probably going to be removed from the deck in favor of that Series 5 card. Nice! Mr. Fantastic from the top rope. No surprises that Brood is in the mix. I could have mentioned Brood sooner, but I really wanted to highlight the control aspect of Silver Surfer decks because I think that's why it's so good in the current meta. Brood, of course, is your big powerhouse card. By buffing it up later on with Silver Surfer, you end up with lots of points into a single location. It's always tempting to play Brood into the Storm lane, but you do have to bear in mind that in some situations that is going to be an overcommit, and you might want to try and win the Storm lane with a 2-cost Storm and just something simple like a Cosmo or a Rogue, perhaps even, if you must. Finally, we have 3 2-cost cards. Maximus makes the cut for me. It's just a good card with 6 stats. I think people really overestimate how big of a deal it is to give your opponent 2 cards. It often doesn't matter. We also play Cosmo in this deck, so there's often situations you can play Maximus into Cosmo. I'm also playing Quake. Quake is a very high skill ceiling card. You can do lots of really interesting things with her. For example, you can play her on turn 4 to shift where the Storm location is, which can bamboozle your opponent. But similarly, she can be a great card on turn 6 when cards like the Nexus are in play to get even more 8 cube victories. Finally, I was playing Medusa. I feel like I could have cut the Medusa, to be honest, because she was feeling a bit awkward at times, but you definitely want another 2-cost card in here. If you own Jeff, I would remove Medusa for Jeff. absolutely, Jeff would be better. But again, I was trying to keep this deck on a budget as much as possible. Medusa is just good points. I just found her to be a little bit awkward, to be honest. And often I was playing her for just 2 points, which felt really awful. Series 5 cards you could consider if you have them. Jean Grey, I'd love to try this card out in this deck, but lo and behold, the progression system in this game sucks. So I don't own her, even though she came out 6 months ago. Sebastian Shaw, if you have him, is pretty good. It just takes 1 Silver Surfer buff, and Sebastian Shaw is already playing for 6 points. You could also look at playing Ironheart if you have Sebastian Shaw. I do think a lot of people go overboard, though, with cards like Nakia and Okoye and Nova. You don't want to go too all in on Sebastian Shaw, in my opinion, because you don't want to gut the control aspect of the Silver Surfer deck, because that's what it does so well. Gladiator is probably the best option for me, though, if you do own it. And again, Mr. Fantastic, probably the weakest link in this one. Jeff is definitely a card I would play in this deck. I would be replacing the Medusa for Jeff. Just a no-brainer if you own him, but if you don't, no need to panic. Silk is also a consideration as a Series 5 card. However, I'm not a huge fan of Silk in Silver Surfer decks, particularly with Brood. Silk is often clogging your locations, and when you've got cards like Cosmo down on the board, that can be a big problem. Lizard is another great option instead of Medusa, or if you don't own Quake, Lizard would be great. I actually think I might prefer the idea of Lizard over Medusa, because with Storm, with Goose, with Killmonger, Lizard should be playing for 5 points consistently, and we don't have to be restricted to the middle location. Some bonus mentions of other cards you might want to consider. Jug, of course, is good with Storm. Crystal improves your consistency of finding Silver Surfer, but it's probably not worth it. Shanna can be cute, but I often find her to be very clunky because she fills up the Brood location and just makes things awkward. I think Wolfsbane is a really good option because it's often playing for 7 points, but it does clash with Cosmo a little bit. Ironheart is definitely an underrated card and definitely one you could consider. Finally, Punisher can play for 7 points if your opponent's location is filled, and that's pretty good for a 3-cost card, so he is also a consideration if you're working on a budget. Let's just get Infinite with Surfer. It will be super smooth. We'll get there really, really quickly. I'm a big, big believer. So, we probably just Maximus to begin with. And we'll storm that lane. We don't want Limbo anyway. I mean, now that Limbo's there, we could consider going for a turn 6 Storm. Don't hate it. So let's maybe Cosmo the middle. Yeah, I'm going to go for a turn 6 Storm. Let's take the Killmonger off to the left. Jubes comes through. Invisible Woman. We'll just go well, we don't want to Quake there because we need to be able to hit the Limbo still. So I guess we're going Quake down the middle. Could also Quake the right, but I think I'd rather just Quake here. Looks like a pretty easy win. Deck is already feeling super smooth. GG. Oh, they run! Finley doesn't want it. What a start for the deck, though. Just looking really impressive. Electra doesn't exactly intimidate me too much, but it could be a lockdown deck or perhaps a bounce deck. So I'm going to be a little bit careful. The Nexus is a nice Storm on the final turn kind of play. Brood takes up a lot of space. Bit worried about that, but I suppose we're going for it. Very strange positioning. Looking for one of the 2 drops. Particularly Goose. Killmonger are though. Actually, probably even better. So we could do this, which allows us to play into Sanctumorium. Kind of interesting. And then I think we just go Storm Surfer. Or Killmonger, even more ideally, right? Iron Man Sif. That's just a bit weird. Bit nervous about that now. I mean, I think we still go for it like this, in fairness. Because they can Sunspot Soak with the Negasonic down. I'm not super convinced we've got it. We should have the left. The question is, do we have another one? And this was kind of the concern about playing the Quake. We actually had the lead in the middle. Why do I feel like we're losing? Why do I feel like we're losing? Oh, Mr. Fantastic gets us their mid. Beautiful. And we won the right. Cool. Oh, Thanos. It's time. We have the Killmonger. They do have extra energy, though, per turn, which is rather intimidating. Goose, Thanos. That's not something you see very often. I quite rate it. Perhaps it's a Valkyrie deck. Actually, very rate it. Very rate it. English is hard. I guess we want to rogue the Soul Stone before we get rid of it. But there could be a Blue Marvel or something. The other question is, do we actually want to Storm? I don't really want them to continue getting value off to the left here. So let's Storm the left. I don't really care too much about the extra energy. I actually quite like their idea of Goose, and it looks very similar to the deck we were just playing, right? Problem with Rogue is I can hit the Goose or the Marvel. Killmonger seems a little bit early. I guess we just take the Rogue. I think it's fine. I don't love it. I actually don't love it at all. The Quake doesn't seem great for us either, really. Surfer's too early. Killmonger's too early. The Negasonic I definitely don't want to go off to the left. If we snipe the Kiera, it's even better. Nice, let's go. So now the Killmonger actually goes through and it otherwise wouldn't have been. They snap? Really? They're going to have the Raft, which is a concern. But we're winning left. We just fight to win the right. We just don't really care about the Raft, right? We just commit everything to the middle in terms of stats. We want to go Killmonger Surfer on the last turn. So I guess we Negasonic mid because it's going to be the most stats. It's going to be 4. And we just Goose the right. I don't like the Bishop inclusion from them, but I do like the rest of the deck that they've been building. This is an 8-cuber, baby. Rogue stealing, Kiera. Just for good measure. Just for good measure, we get all 3 lanes. Beautiful. Thanos countered. That's what we're looking for. We could go for a Cosmo now because they might have like a Nakia, and then we could Quake later on to move Kamartage elsewhere. It looks like it could be a Swarm Nakia deck with like a Sebastian Shaw. I actually don't hate the look of Goose Quake. It's a bit sad if they obviously play something. I was against. Oh my god. On reveal towards the Wong, but we also just goosed it, so. I think they're looking to play Modok there, right? And we goosed them. So they have to Modok left. So if I had initiative, I would be pretty tempted by the Negasonic at this moment in time, but I don't, of course. The Rogue is so good here. Oh my god. So we just go Brood and then we go Rogue Surfer. We steal the Wong and we have the biggest Surfer of all time. Yeah, playing Rogue onto Wong is good because I have Surfer. Yep. Surprised you aren't playing Dracula Dump with Black Swan. Interesting shout. Dracula Dump with Black Swan. Meh. Okay, the Apocalypse is quite scary, but they have to play it still. We should still be beating the mid with the Wong Surfer. We snapped already, of course. Yeah, Black Swan is not very good in my opinion. Yep. What are they playing mid here? It looks like Dracula left, but I'm actually quite scared of whatever's coming down mid. That it might actually be beating us. Imagine we lose from here. Surely not. This Surfer is going to town. Oh my god, are we actually losing, chat? They have 3 cards in hand. Four cards in hand. We never lose. We never lose, chat. The Infinite! We beat it! Oh my god! GG, what a game. What a game. Alright, we do find a 2-drop, which is good. This is why we like playing 4 2-drops. It's also another reason I don't like Sarah. Like, this extra 2-drop would often be Sarah. Of course, now with Supergiant, it's even more the case. I'm looking at maybe... I was thinking of goosing mid, but then I also want to Mr. Fantastic mid, and I want to Brood mid as well, right? So maybe we just goose elsewhere. Because I want to Brood the mid, and I guess filling myself up. It might be an overcommit to have the Brood and the Goose down together. So my opponent skipped the first 2 turns. Which begs the question, do we want to snap? I think so. I think we might snap. It's a little bit overzealous because if Mer Island gets destroyed, then we feel a bit bad. But 50% of the time, we feel like we're in a really, really good position with this Brood play. Like, we have a Goose lane to win, and we're also, like, we have a lot of stats where the Broods are. So we'd, of course, much rather Necroshard disappears here, but we'll see. Electro. So we need to be scared of Galactus. So Cosmo down to the left is definitely a play that we're going to be looking to do. So they have 5 energy this turn, so we don't want to go for the... We don't want to go for the Cosmo just yet. I think we just take the Mr. Fantastic. Does also mean that we're filling up mid, which is not super ideal. We could also just go for like stats or like a... I mean, Negasonic down here could be interesting as well, right? They're quite likely to play mid. They could also go for like a Hobgoblin off to the left. Let's just go Negasonic mid. Actually, the most important thing is that we have initiative in the last turn. So let's just go for the Fantastic. We just want to get initiative, and then we're going to Cosmo Galactus left. That's the game plan. Sandman more scary, that's true. Oh, Supergiant actually does... No, but then they can't Galactus us, right? Oh, this is curious. Electro Supergiant. Oh, I'm intrigued. I am very intrigued. Again, we want initiative. Negasonic Cosmo. Because I'm still expecting, like, Doctor Doom and such. Deck is feeling super smooth, though, I have to say. And bear in mind, this is like the pool 3 version, right? We could add Jeff into the mixer to improve this deck. You could add Gladiator into the 3 drops to improve the deck. So 7 cubes wasted there by myself. That's fine. We'll Medusa mid if we are able to. If Crimson Cosmos doesn't show up again. Spider-Ham suggests it might be bounce, which Killmonger can be pretty good against. But we need to make sure that we are going second. Going into the final turn. Ooh, interesting. Silver Surfer's obviously pretty good on Sinister London. I can see us Cosmoing down the middle here. We'll go Cosmo to the left because they might try and fill up Sacred Timeline if they bounce. I'm going to stay. I think we might be getting some Cosmo value on them here. They might just end up stacking Sinister London, but Cosmo could still get some value there too. Okay, I mean, the Killmonger's looking great. The concern is if they have old matey, old thingamajiggamabobber. Let's Maximus here and let's pig to the left. Silk I actually find really awkward with Brood in particular. So I don't know if they meant to sentry there because that seems like a little bit of a stinker from them really. Negasonic is so good here, and then we have the Silver Surfer Killmonger. Feeling pretty good about our chances. The Annihilus just doesn't look very good for them. Couldn't have really gone much better for us. The Killmonger removes the hoods on our side. The Surfer is buffing up all the 3s twice. Annihilus and Maximus are tying for Throne Room currently. Maximus isn't going to be getting buffed because it is a 2-cost card. Eight cubes is scary. It certainly is scary. They've seen their whole deck. Anything played left also gets Negasonicked. And oh, do you know what? The scary thing is our Surfer can go left into the Cosmo lane, which is not something I considered. So it might have been better for us to go Surfer first to guarantee Surfer ending up middle. We would have lost out on points on Killmonger though, of course. In fairness, Killmonger goes to 7 if we get the 50-50. Iceman dies, which it was dying anyway. Looks like a win. Nice. Of course we want the Surfer to end up mid, but left's fine too. Nice. Pretty convincing.
Wind, aid my hand.
Okay. Bummer. The Galactus dies though. Do they know that? I guess it doesn't matter. There's too many points from like Null, for example, right? Am I just getting baited to stay? I feel like I am getting baited to stay. Should we stay anyway? I shouldn't stay, should I, chat? actually beating Galactus? Bogus! Doesn't happen very often. What happened with Nico? Double this card's power. Well, pretty clear decision for us to Goose. Oh. I say that, but Quake can move Murder World, so let's instead... Maximus. This wasn't even a good decision, really. Because I can't Quake mid. Because it just shuffles it back. So I now have to Quake here, which doesn't really do much for us. Never mind. Maybe they play mid randomly. They're probably expecting Storm more than anything here. Bad decision for me to play it the way I did, I think. Oh! Rewarded. Deathlock. Black Swan. See ya! She's on reveal, so she still gets her ability through. We definitely do want to Goose this pretty... Okay, well they have 2 now, so maybe not. They clearly have a lot of 1-drops, so we'll hold the Killmonger for a moment. We can go Goose Killmonger next time, probably. Goose isn't doing that much, though, with Kamartage, because they can just doom either lane. So ideally we Killmonger on the final turn, to be fair. So we could just set up Killmonger Surfer as our final play. Question is, where do we Goose? I think it's fine to just go here. Might be a bit of an overcommit. I think it's alright. I don't know if I should have played mid because I'm trying to lose initiative. I might have been better off like going Brood to the left. But then like where I put my Surfer is more telegraphed, so... We do want to lose initiative here. Oh! Initiative accidentally lost. Pog. How do we play this? The question is, where do we put the most stats? Do we just go all the stats here? I think. It's possible we just play both here. I don't think we split. I think we always full commit. And we say that Werewolf probably doesn't end up to the right. I don't really know if there's like some maths you can do on where Werewolf's going to land. It's not a card I'm too experienced playing against. Wolf probably ends up right. What's the logic on that? Oh no, not a 10-point demon. Okay, we win the left anyway. Obviously they should have Forge buffed the Hit Monkey here. Do we win all 3? We do. Lovely. It gave them a second death. Yeah, that's... Wouldn't be the most surprising. It's gonna go mid now. Okay. Pog. I don't know if this was correct. I think I can just skip the next turn as well, right? I skip the next turn. I should have just played something maybe into Altar. Like a random Maximus or something. Or maybe even just like preemptively Silver Surfered. Because now I only have 5 energy, so I can't She-Hulk plus 2 cards, which is what I probably wanted to be able to do. I could just She-Hulk this turn though. I just don't want to be ahead, right? So I think I was supposed to play something this turn. Like, it's very important that I don't have initiative. Because I want to be able to Killmonger. Weird one. Does this ever make any sense? I don't want initiative. That's the concern I have, right? Because I need to be able to Killmonger them. We definitely are supposed... I think I just misplayed the last turn. I guess we can also just pile stuff into here this turn. I wouldn't be able to sneak She-Hulk in. I'm definitely supposed to play something into Rickety Bridge this turn, right? But then I also need some stuff to play into Rickety Bridge next turn. I think I just have to throw initiative. I don't feel great about this. Copium! This is never working. I feel like such a Wally for snapping this, guys. This might be the worst snap of all time. Of all time. But yeah, that's true. This is for rank 90 as well. This could be the last game we play with this deck. This is the one for 90. So it's worth going for just for that alone. This is it for rank 90. The 8 cuber. I snapped a bit too early. I'm kind of giving them intel that I might be doing something dodgy. They have so much flipping energy. That they can probably just play a big card mid. That's the concern. We also gave them every card in the deck -1 with the Maximus that we played. Here we go. They're going to run. They're not going to run. There's no way they ever run. Oh my god, they ran. Oh, what a snap. I think we storm elsewhere, though. I think we want to leave Central Park because of Killmonger. Max energy doesn't really do much for us on a board with lots of... I think we should snap. Like, if we find Killmonger, we're popping off. And the Rogue's already looking decent. Is this even good for us? Not really. Meh. I think we want to keep the Cosmo where it is. This could be good for us. Is it though? I don't think so. I don't think we want to Quake. Maybe just Maximus and nothing else here. We're short on space. Whoa. Controversial. That is kind of controversial. Where's my flipping Killmonger? What's going on here? I don't like the Quake again. I do not like the Quake here. This seems like the safest play. Almost a shame we went for this play because now they know we win. Whereas we were probably just stealing more cubes without this. GG. 4-cuber. Oh! They play? What? Spectrum? Are they like how are they expecting to win with Spectrum though? Like the Ant-Man doesn't go through. Oh, Colossus, that's kind of cool. Okay. Well, Colossus saves the day for us because Rogue steals the Iron Man. Happy days. People will definitely not realize how often it happens as well. Like, I think it's massively underestimated how much it happens. No, I'm not going to get Super Giant. I don't own Miss Marvel, and I feel like Miss Marvel is, like, really good for that deck. Because, oh, nice. We Quake them into Jotunheim. And perhaps it's like a Forge. It was just a Jeff. Still, though. I'm going to snap. I like the boards. I'm not going to get Super Giant. I think she's a Miss Marvel card, and I don't own Miss Marvel. The reason I say she's a Miss Marvel card is because she's good with Zabu. And I also already have Dark Hawk and Zabu, who are the other ones in the caches. I'm trying to stock up a bit in new cards anyway, and then I can like really make sure I'm getting all the new cards that I want in the next few weeks. Okay. This is looking good. Obviously, we have Killmonger to deal with this. Obviously, like, Silver Surfer, pretty damn good Kamartage, but we also have to consider, are they going to have really good cards to play there? And I don't think so that much, so I think we can go for the Cosmo now. Okay. Killmonger not looking so good anymore. Hmm. So the big question is really, where should I play the Negasonic? We do have a lot of points everywhere. They also might... They already moved Jeff, right? So if I play Negasonic mid, I'm at 5, 7 plus 8. I'm at 15. I think it's pretty reasonable to play it like this. Yo, Dexter! Thank you so much for the sub, my friend. Welcome. I think Supergiant is pretty good. Yeah, I think Supergiant's pretty good. You can use her with like a snap at a good opportune moment. Ooh, the Squirrel Girl is pretty interesting, but they do lose a lot of points because of Jotunheim at least. Oh my god. Jotunheim, do you save the day for us? I think it might, right? Tiebreaker win! Thank you, Jotunheim. So, Shanna rolling Black Knight. I think the odds were that... Felt a bit bad. I was like, Unhook, my guy, we go way back! No, Antoine, nice one. Alright, they lose out on Heimdall, which has got to be good news for us. Nice. Oh my god. The Maximus mirror. And more cards. Okay, a brood, I'll take it. Feels like we should maybe take the Spidey, like, now. Electro, bizarre. Bizarre play. I guess they were lacking a curve. Time to snap, I think. I think I'm happy with Brood going down the middle here. That's an early Sarah, but they have a flipping Electro down, Tom Tom. Tom Tom, are you a bot? Blink twice if you're a bot, Tom Tom. How are they? Okay, one's got a bit of Jeff. Hey, Jess. It looks like it's only going to be a 2 cube, but that's the sad thing. Agatha! Okay, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. They got Agatha off the hub. Mate, wait. Are we losing? Chat? Are we losing right now? To Agatha? 2468. We're losing mid. What? Chat? Why do we seem to be losing to Agatha? Bruh. Oh my god. We're actually losing to Agatha. And this is the flipping game for rank 90, whatever it's called. Is it called Omega? They can only play one card. I don't think they have much. I think this might be the best play. Oh! Oh no! The Jeff dies! Let's go. Oh my god, the Jeff died. Thank god. Okay, and that's it. That's rank 90. I feel like we had to stay. I feel like we had to stay just in case. They didn't have much, was my prediction. We hit rank 90. It didn't take very long, to be fair. And that was with Series 3 cards only. It took us, what, like 2.5 hours with this deck? From rank 80 to 90. Let's take a look at the stats. Let's take a quick look at the stats. So, we played overall a bunch of games. I stopped tracking the stats on this because my win rate was high, but I just threw so many cubes. So, 60-odd% win rate. But you can see, like, the second time, I didn't... Like, this first 18 games, I was just throwing so many 8-cubers. I wanted to give, like, the deck a better reflection in terms of the net cubes, because I was chasing some fancy wins. We still did some chasing towards the end of this deck, with this deck as well. But you can see, like, really, really smooth climb. This deck has the potential of winning, like, lots of cubes as well, which I think the second set of games kind of showcases a little bit better. Massive believer in Silver Surfer in general. Absolutely, we could have got it to infinite very, very quickly as well, but I want to now get to infinite with a different deck. But yeah, this deck popped off. GG.